All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to No Cover TV's podcast. I'm your host, Big Al, and I appreciate you stopping in and listening to our show. We, present you the local and national original music scene from all over, all abroad. We're hitting all of the United States, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. Everybody's listening to your shows, everybody, and I really appreciate it. And I know the artists, the bands really appreciate it too. If you want to get a hold of me, there's that little button below the podcast there. Hey, Zoe's in the house.
That's in your ear.
That's in my ear. Yes, Zoe's in the house. This is live. So if Zoe barks, we listen. And we might run because we have a drummer in the house. And Zoe goes after drummers and bass players. So, but before I get to our guest, again, get a hold of me at nocovertv@yahoo.com. Bands, artists, it's about you. Get a hold of me. Go to the No Cover TV Facebook page. You can drop me a line there too and hit me up, and we will do this. We can do it remotely, or if you dare come to the table, hey, let's do it. Come to me face to face. I dare you. All right, let's get to the show. Our guest today, Scott Ryder from Valentiger, is in the house. Yay! Hey, I can do something for this. Nice applause for you there. Okay, I gave you applause. No boo. All right, no boo. Scott Ryder's in the house from Valentiger, the West Michigan band, Grand Rapids area. Been around for quite some time.
Yep.
And I can't even say young man anymore.
You're getting old.
He's getting old.
Yep.
Wow. Sky here on the TV show, 2003, I think.
Is that what it was?
2003. You were 18, 19 years old.
Yep.
You come to me, put me on TV.
Make me a star.
Make me a star. So you were a three-piece band.
Yep.
You come in with a different name, though.
Yeah, Happy Hour at that time. Interesting enough, we were working at that. I think Brent and I, the singer of the band, were working at GRTV at that time, or maybe we're I don't know, maybe we're just there once in a while. But anyway, we were there. We were playing as Happy Hour at the time, and just young kids. And now we're called Valentiger. We kind of made the name change. I'm not even sure, was that 08 maybe?
08?
Yeah, I think that's about when it was. And, the internet was happening, which is crazy to think like where we started to where things are now as far as like music goes. So promoting the band was different then, once you got to Googling things, Googling Happy Hour made it a lot tougher. So we tried to get something that was Googleable, I guess, has always been the story. There's no real significance or band name or anything. So, yeah.
Well, I always, because I've been following you for the 20 years.
Yeah.
So I wondered, there was a stop there. The band name changed.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a band change in lineup, the guys. Or anything.
We changed then. Scott Schultz, who was in the band at the time, is Brent's cousin. He stepped out. Eric Kehoe jumped in, started playing bass. And honestly, we were already kind of planning a name change anyway. So it just all kind of happened at the same time. We had a record that was coming out. We decided that would be the time to do it. And so we were, Brent and I talked about what we were going to do. We came up with all sorts of names, like lots of bad names. And we picked this name, which is still, maybe not great either. I have no idea. But we had to call ourselves something, So
it was Valentiger.
Yeah, so maybe we'll go back to Happy Hour now. Maybe what we'll do now.
Switch it up a little bit.
Now that we're fine with it, yeah. Yeah, it was... Yeah, those are different times. It's tough to even think about like the relationships you have with people, like you just knowing you for that long. You know what I mean? And it's like, we don't see each other very often, but like we do have history. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch everybody. I stay in the background now and I just peek around and I check, and I'll come out and see you.
Yeah, for sure.
Spy on you guys. It's amazing what's going on, and I'm so happy to see that you're still jamming.
Yeah,
you're
playing.
Still together with Brad. Now, is it just you two, three-piece still?
So we're still a three-piece. Bill, our bass player, he lives in Detroit. He's from that area. He's lived up in Grand Rapids for a while. He's lived in Chicago, but he always makes the trek over here for practices and stuff. Creatively, Brent and I are doing a lot of like the creative end of things. Okay. Now, Bill still is doing creative stuff, but it's just it moves a little faster with the two of us, and then we kind of bring him in to kind of like refine things. Okay. So, and that's probably a longer conversation as far as recording and stuff. I don't even know how we're doing it these days. Post-pandemic is, I guess we're still kind of in some of those things, some of it, but as we kind of jump out of like staying home all the time to getting back out and traveling and seeing faces and like learning how to do this still, it's just, we're slow. We're just slow. We're getting back into it. We're doing it at our own pace.
Well, that's good. You're doing it at your own pace. You're not rushing it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what we would, what we would really do different at this point is like, do I want to be out playing more shows? Am I trying to release a bunch of music? So we're just kind of sorting some of that stuff out in our brains too. Like, what does the next 20 years look like? You know, if we're going to keep doing this, like, how do we make this sustainable for us?
Okay. Well, now you've had quite a journey in the last 20 years.
Yeah. We've had some fun. We've done some stupid stuff and some smart stuff. So,
you're a band. And
yeah, we're
a
a band. Yeah, drummer and a band. Yeah. People like to pick on the drummers, that's for sure. So
always. Oh my God.
I'm probably the most outgoing.
Yes, you are.
So, yeah.
So let's step back, and I'm going to take you like I do everybody else, and throw you in that little time capsule.
Sure.
I'm going to take Scott on a ride. All right, everybody, let's go on that journey to the back. Okay, Scott, we're going to go back before the TV show. We're going to go back to, you were 19 then. Let's go back to when you're 12. Okay, well, what's Scott listening to? When did you grab them damn drumsticks?
Man, I was like 12. That's a great question. I wish I had a better idea on that. Let's see, 12 is, I don't know, what grade are you in 12?
12, 14, or 6th, 7th grade, what 8th grade? What
grade, man, 90s and mid-90s. I mean, I'm definitely listening to like Pearl Jam. I'm listening to a lot of grunge stuff. Listening to a lot of that stuff, pretty much whatever's on the radio at that time. I liked a lot of pop stuff too. I would listen to some hip-hop and, top 40, I would say, is probably where my brain was at.
Okay.
As far as drums go, my dad played drums when he was young, and we always had this vintage kit. It was like, like a 70s knockoff, Ludwig type or Sling-A-Lin type thing. We had that, and I could always play from pretty young, 7 or 8. I could play drums, but I didn't have any sort of drive to play drums.
Okay.
And I didn't really get into music, like nerd out on music, until I was much older. I'm one of those late bloomers in that regard. Some people have that, like they, piano lessons or something early on. And I wish I would have helped me. It would have sped everything up for me. But I didn't start taking any sort of drum lessons until I was probably 23 or so.
So you weren't even taking lessons before you came on the show.
No. I just basically, I found Brent as far as his songs, and I really liked his songs, and I wanted to find a way to like help promote his music and like propel it forward. At that time he was a better singer, drummer, guitar player than me. I mean, I just wanted to like help improve his stuff and just support it. So it was like, hey man, I can kind of play some drums. Would that be helpful? And it was, we built a relationship, and I mean, most of my drumming that I learned was through Brent, was either just playing with him or him giving me ideas.
Okay.
And then as I kind of, then I wanted to do more complex stuff. That's when I wanted to find lessons or do something a little bit different. YouTube wasn't really the thing. It wasn't how you found stuff. You had to buy a book. And, I always feel really old saying stuff like that. But it's like, the resources that are out there now are great, but at the same time, they can kind of bog you down because there's so many resources. So it's like, it's really easy to just like get lost. Where, back then it was like, here's a book. This is how you learn how to play Green Day. You're like, okay, and then you read it, and you learned it, or you went to a guy and he helped you teach it.
It to you, exactly. Yeah. Well, from back then, like you were saying, times are a little easier as far as platforms go. I mean, back then with the TV show, there was no platforms. I had to make a website and keep that up, and that was it.
Right.
Or MySpace.
Yep. MySpace, you got to have tripod.com.
Tripod.com. I forgot about that.
Free spot, to put your stuff. And so, yeah.
So what do you think about these platforms nowadays?
I think it's, I think if you ask anybody who's lived in a different time, anybody who like probably saw like the 90s into the 2000s, if you were playing music in the 70s, you're probably like, what is this? I don't understand it. Or maybe not, I don't understand it, but it's like, it's not necessary. Where now we get to a point where like, I think it's so awesome that people can put music and art out and anybody can hear it or see it, and they can build a career off of it, or they can just share it with their friends. At the same time, it's a double-edged sword. Like we're talking about, it's like, some people could edit a little bit, I think, but also I'm not the authority on that actually. So I shouldn't even say that, but it's sometimes you're just like, okay, I think maybe that could sit in the oven a little longer, before you put it out there. But
right.
Not everybody operates the same way, so it doesn't really matter, in my opinion on that. So as far as the actual platforms, I think it's fantastic. Like for me, it's confusing because we don't put stuff out digitally like that. So it's just like, we're a record band. We like to make records. Even CDs are a little bit funny to us. Like, we like vinyl records.
You like vinyl?
I like tapes. I like that sort of stuff. It's like you got to kind of sit through the whole thing.
Okay.
But do I listen to singles? Yeah, of course I do. I'm not an idiot. I still, I'm a human being. Yeah.
Well, now I noticed you've got some stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
And now you brought me a CD.
Yeah, I mean, that's 14, I think was our last record that we put out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a minute. So we're overdue. I mean, you get done with something, you finish it, for us, we toured on that a little bit and traveled. And so you'd go and do that. Then you get into playing shows, and then all of a sudden a couple of years go by, and then life happens, and, people go in different directions, and all of a sudden it's hard to get together. Mm-hmm. And, it's just finding time to then make that again. It's really tough. It's not that we don't have material. We're working on new material all the time. It's just to then finalize it and put it on then what do? Do you make a record these days, or you just put out singles?
Or digital copies?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like there are all these things out there that, like, I feel like there's another wave coming maybe, and maybe it's time to just wait for that wave. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We have no plans to release anything this year. We're also not going to say we won't have something out, early next year. So it's just we're just sitting.
And I noticed you're kind of a little selective on shows that you do play out.
Yeah, we've definitely changed that. I mean, over the years we've done everything from beer and wine festival in Grand Rapids and playing for 8 hours.
Oh yeah. And
we even challenged ourselves once to not play any repeat songs. We made it 8 hours of playing 8 hours of music. Wow. Right now, after coming out of 2020, it's like, we definitely can't do that. Definitely not a quality version of it. And for me personally, losing a little joy out of doing covers all the time, playing 3-hour shows. It's like, I don't know, that's not why I got into music. I got into music to support Brent's tunes, and I like when we get to just play our music together that we've created, and our little, group of guys that we like to make music with. It's like kind of our thing, and our inside jokes and all of those sort of things. Like, that all matters to me, and like completely making other people happy, it's part of it, but also at the same time, it gets a little heavy after a while. You know what I mean? You're just like, okay, so am I a performer or am I an artist? Those sort of things.
Right.
And then it's like, but I'm also just a human being doing human stuff too.
Well, you've got to put on different gloves because you're a performer, you're an artist, and then you're a husband, and you're, you have a professional.
Definitely. And when you get into you put that recording hat on, you're recording, you're different. You're a different player. You're a different person than the guy who's going out and playing music, live in front of people, or at least that's how I treat it, because there's nobody to put, not that we're like really flashy or anything, but you're a little bit more aware of how you're acting and looking, and and you're in a room, you can wear sweatpants and just play drums and just think about that, you know what I mean? And
right.
So
well, you changed into that rock star mode,
right? Yeah, which we never really tried to have those sort of attitudes or anything, but it does. When you're standing on stage and everybody's looking at you, you can't help but be aware that
got to get
I'm doing something. Like, also people are staring at you. Like, do something.
Right, move.
make it somewhat entertaining for people that are paying attention. So.
Well, good. Now, you've been doing it quite a while. This CD here, 2014.
Yeah.
Is this the only one?
We got under Valentiger. We have 3
CDs under Valentiger. Yeah. Okay, good deal. And some of these songs, I'm sure, are on YouTube that people can find. Okay.
Yeah.
And play. I don't know if we're to get to some songs. We might touch on it. Now, you play drums, Scott.
Yep.
And you do some of the producing of the music with Brett and stuff like that. Now, you said you play a little guitar.
Yeah. I play a very little guitar.
You opened that door, didn't you?
Yeah, I play a little guitar. No, just for fun. I think, everybody has to have a hobby, right? So
you see what I've got.
Yeah,
yes.
I know. Exactly. They're fun. So I have play a little acoustic guitar. I like to write some songs once in a while. I think it's a good way to collect my thoughts and kind of get them, get that out. I think it's just a nice piece of expression you can do.
Expression.
Some people like to paint. Some people like to, do woodworking. I like to just write a song once in a while. And it usually doesn't ever even get finished. It's just like an idea. And then the ideas, that's fine. Like, that's all it needs to be. Like, I'm not releasing it or anything like that.
Okay. All right.
It's not really that's not my vibe.
Just leave it to Brett.
Yeah, that's him. That's all. You'll do the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Brett, it's all on you.
Yeah,
sorry, brother.
Yeah, right.
Scott's doing you wrong, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he would probably just love to just play some drums and bass in a band once and not have to be singing in front of people. But,
So I know you do singing. He's doing singing.
Yeah.
You just switching that up half and half. What are we doing on the songs?
No, Brent's the main dude. I mean, the focus of all these songs are, Brent's words, Brent's melodies, everything he's putting it together. I'm just there to help support it. Bill also, he does a lot of the harmonizing with Brent. I'm not that good at it. I try my best. I'm just a guy trying.
Just the guy behind the drums. Leave me alone.
Trying my best. I'm cool with making an attempt at it, but I know sometimes Bill, he's a really good singer as well. So it's nice. Their vocals together work out really nice. And,
you guys are awesome,
yeah,
man.
so.
And your sound. Describe to the folks your sound, because it's not metal. It's not.
No,
it's eclectic rock with folk undertones, I want to say.
Yeah, I think we've, and you play long enough, I think, there's some people that think of us as like a folk band or like almost like an emo band from when we were younger. And it's, it's mainly melody, it's melody driven. I always like to tell people that we have a lot of the 60s feel as far as melody drives a lot of the songs. And then Brent's very lyrical. So you get a lot of songs where it goes in that like folkier window, where it's just even like a Wilco vibe or something like that, where it's like, it's an acoustic guitar. It's a guy singing a song, telling you a story. And then we go into other things where we like 70s punk. So then all of a sudden it bounces into something that feels a little, Clash-ish, or like even like more like 60s, 70s Kinks,
Oh, nice.
So then we start looking at it that way, and, that's a different feel, but I think it's still in the same realm. The person who listens to those two things, I think that person exists.
Okay.
But we're just, it's, we're not putting on heavy distortion,
No,
so
you're
we're not
not
doing that. We're not doing the double kick thing. We're playing pretty like straightforward 3-piece rock and roll. Like,
you're pretty basic, because you don't
clean.
Yeah, you don't command a big drum kit.
No, I mean it's just a 4-piece. It's
right.
Simple.
It's clean, kind of like my old band.
I like
that.
I like that. I like vintage gear. Brent plays a Stratocaster. So we keep it pretty like
classic.
Yeah, I think it's more classic. Yeah. So
I like that sound very much, and you've got that sound in town, West Michigan, that really nobody's touching on.
It's interesting. We don't run into more bands that sound like us. I'm always kind of like perplexed by that, because I don't know. We like a lot of the same. Like a lot of people like the bands. We like Pavement. We like REM. We like all these bands that are very accessible to people. Right. It's not like we're like listening to something that nobody's ever heard of. Right. And we're nothing.
Your expression's more different than others.
Yeah. So I mean, we've run into people that have similar feels like over time, but like usually, whatever, we're dinosaurs at this point, so it feels like we've been around for a long time.
Right, or dinosaurs.
We've seen some waves. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you've done a lot of great things with your music in West Michigan, and you said you traveled out of state and did a little touring.
Yep.
How far did you go out?
Yeah, I mean, we've been to Texas, out east. Right now we're mainly, if we play out of town, it's Chicago, Milwaukee. We're playing, Detroit. We'll get it down to probably Nashville this year, later in the year. We still like to go out to New York City. We do pretty well there.
Nice.
We still have friends that are there. We tend to draw fairly decent there. If we get into Brooklyn or, even, Lower East Side, Manhattan, we do okay there. But, yeah, I mean, we're just kind of sneaking by usually. It's kind of, I don't know, we get lucky. We get lucky. Yeah, we get lucky at times. Other times, we work really hard at it too, and we appreciate all the support that we've had over the years. I mean, you can't do it this long without having some people that are helping you,
And you've got good support.
Oh,
you've been on YC, our local radio station,
sure,
and you've done this a few times, I think. Yeah.
We've been, I mean, like I said, we've had some luck. We've had a song on a Chevy commercial back in the day. We've had different things that have popped up, little indie movies where we've had a song that's been put on there, and it's cool. But yet, a lot of work to do, and we like our position where we're at. We're sitting in a spot where like we can afford time to do, make music together with my friends and make some money doing it. But like, we're not like making tons of money at it. Right. That's not why we do it anyway. Okay. We cover the bills for the band, and we have fun with it.
You have fun with it. That's the biggest thing, is having fun with it. And when you're on the stage and you're out there and you're performing, and you're looking out there, seeing everybody singing your songs to you, it probably puts a big old smile on your face, doesn't it?
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's cool when you hear somebody say, send us a note that says like, hey man, I really like this song, or we use this song for something, like our wedding or something. And you're like, well,
right.
That's really cool. Like it impacted somebody. That's really cool to hear.
That's what the meaning. Yeah.
It's also great that people share that with us. Like, we don't know. We're putting stuff out. You have no idea. Like, oh, these people do like
they grabbed a hold
cool.
of it.
Like, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they liked it. I mean, I love what I hear, and you've changed up since I've heard you 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, it's funny. Before I came over here, Brent and I were actually listening to some old demos, like probably in that era when we met you. Wow. And it's just funny to like, like it's great. There's some really good stuff in there. There's also some really tragic sounding stuff in there.
Well, I have
at least I feel like we got better. We've got
Right. I mean, I got all the TV shows are right behind you, so I will dig in that box and find you.
I hope. Yeah, I want to see that for sure.
So I do look at it once in a while, and it's kind of wow, time travel.
Yep.
Woo! So you back in the day, I noticed you were doing something at our local theater. You were gathering musicians and that wanted to collaborate together and chit-chat about the music scene.
Yep.
You did that for a while. I wanted to make it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
How did that go for you, Scott? What did you get out of it? What did you learn? Were you able to take that information and progress and make things better at all? Work with that?
That was a really cool thing. It's called, Let's Talk GR Music. I had no idea what was going to happen. So my whole plan about that was just, give an opportunity to have, I think it was once a month, I would get a speaker, somebody from, Scott Hammontree from The Intersection, have him come talk about like promotion or talk about like booking. And then people would come and then hang out, and you like me.
He's always in the house.
So we would do, so I would like try and plan a speaker, and then people would come and he would speak, and then we could have like a little Q&A. And the first one we ever did was like overly, like, there were a lot of people there, and they were like angry. They were like, what we need to do is this, it was just, I didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be kind of a small, friendly thing.
Kind of Q&A
like,
type thing.
It was like immediately, it was just like, the way we need to improve things is this, this, and this. And, my vision was like, how do we help improve musicians just be better at like marketing their music and, like booking shows. And we got into like sexual assault. We got into all sorts of things that were like way above any, like taxes, like how to do taxes.
For a musician, yes.
Yeah, you start getting into that, like racism, like things that are very real that you don't, everybody has an idea of what the music scene is. But then there's real life and real things happening within the music scene.
Exactly.
And like those things came up, and it's like, if anything, it was so awesome to be able to stop talking sometimes and just listen to what other people's experiences are.
Yes.
I think that's something that we all could do a little bit more. And that's coming from a dude who never stops talking. But like listening to other people and their experiences, it matters, because just because it didn't happen to you or you don't know anybody that's ever had it, like if somebody's had stuff happen, then it has happened. It's a real thing that's, so I didn't know where it was going to go. I think I made it 2 years. I get a little bit burned out after 2 years. It gets hard, planning stuff, especially when you're doing other things. And at that time, I didn't really have, I didn't have as much time to do it. With my current job, I have more time to get out there and, plan my own day. Where, when I was working for a tree service, it's like you don't know when you're getting home, and then you're rushing to get places. So, yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're not the only artist at the table that has talked about mental abuse and things like that.
Yeah.
That happen at shows. I've dealt with that booking my artists in different venues, booking venues.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with the sexual assault situations. Well, every type of situation I've come across. And it's not cool, man.
No. And there's just so many things. Just, a lot of times there's drinking involved, and
it always seems to be drinking.
There's drinking involved. There's driving involved. There's drugs involved. There's poor decisions just as human beings that happen. Right. There's also been you're amplifying a lot of stuff. You're giving, you're telling somebody they're really cool because they're in a band and all these things. It's like, okay, well then they think they're owed certain, and it's like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how it works at all.
No, and. When I was at the clubs, and I mean, we're getting a little off the subject, but all you bands, I'm sure that are out there, whether you're local or national, you're probably going to run into this someday when you're playing a venue. You're going to have one of those two people that are a little drunk or whatever, and they're going to be rude, or they're going to be doing, hitting on people they're not supposed to be and doing things stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Be professional.
Yeah.
Approach that person. And what I teach security is you walk and talk.
Yep.
Don't put your hands on the person. Be as nice as you can. Talk them out of that place. But you can defend yourself if they come at you. But do it classy.
Yeah.
All right. Do it classy.
It's just crazy.
It is crazy.
We see a lot of stuff. We've seen a lot of stuff in our years of traveling, and I would say I've probably seen less than 1% of what people see on a large scale when they're doing it at a much higher level. And it's just like, man, there's a lot going on.
It is.
There is a lot going on.
Wow. Big Al don't like to bounce no more. No. I'm hurt, man. I'm 60 years old. I don't want to fight no more.
And sometimes it's people that don't even realize they're there's a chance to maybe educate people sometimes. And I was hoping that that's what would happen with those Let's Talk GR meetings would be, education. Sometimes people would come and they would argue the fact, and it's like, that's not what we're here for. It's just like somebody's going to share a side of a story, and you can take that and then walk away from it, and you can make your own decision off of it. It's not to, we'll have a conversation, sure, but like, you just have to, there's respect for people. You got to respect what their opinions are and what they're telling you.
Exactly.
And then from there, just take that and you can do whatever you want with it. But like respectfully, you got to listen to people and listen to their stories.
Yeah. And like you said, and I always say to the people out there, listen, because you will learn a lot in this business if you just listen. Just get a little close with your ear. You'll pick up some things that you can take and use in your own career and move forward if you'd like.
I mean, there's just like, it's cool that some of the people that I did meet from those meetings, I see them around now and they've grown their careers. Where like, when they started, they maybe just came to Grand Rapids and don't know anybody, and now they're playing in, bands around town. And it's like, that's so cool to see that,
Yeah.
Not that I had anything to do with their progression, but it's like you see them show up, they don't know anything, and then they have grown into, now they're playing, these bigger stages. And you're like, wow, that's cool. I remember when he showed up in GR, it's like a lot of life can happen.
Now they're branched out.
Yeah, a lot of life can happen.
Sure. Well, it's to all the people that are listening out there, do your due diligence, practice, and just, it is hard work in this business, but don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep putting that foot in front of the other and knock those damn doors down.
Yeah.
Because you can break them down. You can get through them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely you can. Yep.
Definitely. So you got a great fan base there, I see. Yeah. How are the fans treating you, Scott?
Yeah, we're doing great, except for those people that we talked about.
Well, yeah, right.
People that just get too drunk and talk to you. No, I'm just joking. I've been there. But no, we're great. We really appreciate. Like I said, we haven't put out a record in a while, so I don't know how many people are still out there looking for our music. But I do feel like we have some really good. I don't really even think of people as fans as much as just like friends that we know, people that listen to our music. Like fans just takes it to like a level, I know what you're saying, but fans just takes it to a level of like, I'm up here and they're down. And it's like, it's not what it is. It's just like, as far as people that support our music, man, we've been so lucky over the years. And, we put in the effort, but people really do afford us a lot of options to just have, some grace sometimes, like watch us as kids, watch us grow up to like be kind of adults at this point. And, now I feel like there's a point now where it's like we're getting into a stage of, I'll be 40 this year. And it's like, I know that's not old or anything like that, but you start thinking like, well, when I got started, I was 19. There were people that were 40 at that time that I'm sure I was like, that old guy's out there playing music. I'm never going to be that guy.
Quit looking at me, Scott.
You're looking at me like,
shut up.
Just wait till you get to
Right.
So, I don't have any plans to stop doing it. When I was younger, I think I did say at one point, I was like, at 30, if I haven't done something major, I think I'm done doing music. And then 30 came around and, I felt pretty comfortable with the career I'd created, so I was fine with it.
Well, you've cut your path in your profession now.
Yeah.
And you're settling down a little bit. And it seems like with the music and the band and everything, you got that pretty much well covered as far as, the stability, what you want to do. You're picking and choosing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the future for Valentiger, do we see another 10, 20 years going by?
Yeah, I hope so. As long as, Brent and I and Bill, can get together and make it work. I'm happy to keep doing it. The thing is, you start thinking about, like, hey, what do you really want to do with this? And, for me personally, I love that we get to play regionally. I love that we get to travel once in a while to play music. Like, that's like the best part about it. I love playing Grand Rapids too. I don't like to take away from, every time we're playing in Grand Rapids means another band isn't playing in Grand Rapids. So we've had our chance on the ride quite a bit. So it's like, I'm not trying to be out there every weekend, playing the same venues that maybe some younger people want to start playing.
Right.
So we're trying to limit what we do in Grand Rapids. I mean, we're only going to draw so much anyway. So it's like play once a month in GR. That's cool. Maybe once every couple months is probably more appropriate, and be a little bit more thoughtful with that. But,
okay.
Moving forward, it's an opportunity to get on a tour maybe with a bigger band.
There you go. I like that.
So,
I'm liking that.
So Not a Surf, if you're listening, we're ready. Yep.
Hint,
ready to go.
Hint.
So, but you know what I mean? Like something like that would be really special for us to be able to go out. We've had chances to open for some big, national bands, but like for us to string 3 or 4 days together would be really fun.
Yeah.
So we're just,
well, that brings me to my next question for you, and Brett, you're going to answer for him and Bill.
Sure.
In the 20 years, boy, this might be a tough one. What show stands out the most? What person, what show kicked ass that you cannot forget about?
Man. We've had there are multiple shows and they're for multiple reasons. I definitely like in the recent history, definitely we opened for Gin Blossoms at 20 Monroe. And that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And we got to open for them. We got to watch, when you get to play with, and we've done it with other bands, but we've done, you play with these bands and you watch what like true professionals that are playing in the industry and they're traveling and they're true professionals. You get to watch how it all works and you go, interesting. You watch how they act, you see how they move, you see how their team works, and you're just like, okay, that's another level.
It's all choreographed.
Yeah, it's another level for sure. So that one really stands out, and probably the main reason that stands out is because that day Bill was coming from Detroit, and he was like running late, and then it was like we had to sound check at X time, and he wasn't there. So Brent went over, and Brent like played his bass, just like it works. So he showed up, and like. Its doors already open. Bill shows up and he's like, I'm going to take a quick shower and then let's do it. So it's like, he literally got there. I mean, after sound check, there's probably an hour, that we're waiting until we play. So he shows up and we're just like, all right, these are the, 30 minutes of music we're going to do. Like we hadn't really practiced for him. And we like went out there and I'm not saying we killed it, but it felt pretty good. When you feel like you're kind of connecting with the other guys on stage, like sound was really good. The vibe was good. Our friends were there supporting us. It seemed like people that were there to see the national act was there. They enjoyed us as well. Like we're in the same vein. So it worked out pretty cool. So that's one for sure. Some of the other ones that stand out are shows that don't go so well because you can learn a lot from those shows too. There's a lot of them over the years that are just like, there's some special moments that we've had, got some opportunities to do stuff that's like, well, you look back on it, you're like, that was pretty cool.
That's a memory to keep. Yeah. We'll hold on to that one.
Oh yeah, for sure. That one just pops up in my mind just because I felt like it felt like maybe the end, and then all of a sudden we went out and played really well and it like we sold some stuff and we, like it was just like it all kind of came back together when it felt like it was spiraling there for just a second,
So it kind of brought you back together.
Well, we got our bass player's not there, and we're sitting there going, well, I hope he's here before we play, and we're just like
you're watching this, back and forth.
You're watching the super professional act happening behind the stage and how they're moving, and we're just sitting there like 3 dudes, 2 dudes waiting on the third dude to show up, and it's like life's happening, man. He's out doing his job and couldn't get, like stuff happens. So.
Yeah, I've done the bigger shows with the big guys, and it's amazing how it's all choreographed. The backline setup, from the cans to everything. It's amazing running the electrical, their own separate power systems even. That was amazing. I'm not going to say the shows I worked, but it is a feat in itself. It's wild. And miles and miles of cable. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, just like how much effort goes into some of those big shows, like Van Andel type stuff is like, if you really like think about how much effort goes into that is a whole production, man. It's a
big production. I did one of their biggest shows down there, and I got to talk with the lead singer of the band, and he brought in 14 semis.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm thinking, why?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And he just laughed. It's like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And I said, great. Okay. And, but a lot of work, okay? A lot of work, okay, to have a 2-3 hour show.
Right.
And it was a great conversation anyways, and then he flew off to the next show. Mm-hmm. So anyways, but if you get to that point, artist, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work, and you have to have a lot of dedication. A lot of dedication.
That's when it looks like a lot of work.
And believe me, you're going to be
responsibility.
You're going to be on the road a lot.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility.
Okay. You got to remember, if you're at the local level, it's a little different. Yeah. You've got more of control of that.
For sure.
Now, once you jump up to national, you kind of giving a little of that up, but you still have the control because you're still independent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, when we step up a little bit farther, that's when people want to start controlling you and your music.
Yeah.
Don't let that happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time interviewing famous people per se, because you made it. I don't really have any questions for you.
Right. Yeah.
You're all over the news. I don't need to interview you. I need to help the people out that are trying to get the damn music out there. Right, Scott?
Right. Yeah, I got you.
Wow. So, we've been at this 35 minutes. I do have a little bit of a song on YouTube. People go to YouTube, check out Valentiger. Spell that out for them.
V-A-L. Well, if you go on my phone, it spells like Valentine every time. It's like, by this point, you should know it's Valentiger. It's Valentine and Tiger mix. Valentiger.
Valentiger. Go to YouTube, check it out. I actually pulled up a song here. I might try to just hit a clip of it here, see how it comes out. Now, sometimes when I play music on the podcast, sometimes if I run it through the board, sometimes it comes out. But I'm going to play this way. All right, just a little bit. What is this song here? When You Come to an End, official video.
Oh man, that's a funny one. Well, so it's like, this is one that gets a lot of play, or gets a lot of comments about this song. It's like probably one of our most somber songs, and I put it up. I mean, I put the video together, and honestly, we took it's from a show that we went up to Shorts Brewery and we played, and we all three were taking video with our phones the entire night, and so we just put that all together into one video of like our experience of the day, and we put it to this, and this is it's probably the most relaxed song out there.
Well, it's cool because I like that you're able to use your phones now. Isn't this great?
Well, it's like having a nice it's nice. You got a camera in your hand, right?
So let me hit this. Let's see what we can hear, people. This is Valentiger, When You Come to an End, official video. Let's hear what we got here. Let's see if I can turn it up here.
Will you call it an end? Will you let it begin? When you come to an end, I have called you a friend. You have called me a friend, but I've been where you've been. You are what I pretend. Thought I was getting by, well, turns out I was kidding myself. Thought I was getting by, well, turns out you were shit, my friend.
I'm turning that down, but I'm going to leave it playing a little bit, Scott.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
This is really cool. This is like a traveling song.
Well, I like seeing the video. I'm like, that's pretty fun.
That's cool right there. I mean, that's kind of bringing back minds when I would travel to California. It's like,
we get a lot of people say we are kind of like a road trip band. They like throw our records on when they're on a road trip, which is cool. I like hearing that. That's how I like music in the car. I love being able to listen. I think it's probably because you can listen to the whole record that way and just go with it. So it's cool.
I love it. So everybody out there in podcast land, wherever you're out, check out Valentiger. on YouTube. Are you on any other platform, Scott?
I think we're on pretty much every platform.
Okay.
I don't know any platforms we're not on, honestly, at this point. So it might take us a minute to respond, or you might have to dig a little bit. But yeah, you can pretty much find us anywhere. Yeah.
Find Scott and Brett and Bill just about anywhere. And these guys are great, man, and they're very approachable. They don't bite very hard. So talk to the guys. When do you think you might possibly get another one of these CDs or vinyls out?
Yeah.
When do you think?
Yeah, there's not really any promise on that. I mean, we have plenty of material out there, so it's more of a matter of how we want to do it and where it's gonna land. Is it a vinyl release? Is it a single? I just don't think that I think we always kind of go the opposite direction of what everybody else is doing, for better or worse. I just think that we like to stick to what we know, and there are plenty of people out there like us that want music that way too. So I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if you can, I don't even know how you're going to play that CD. No idea. I don't have a CD player anymore in my life. So.
I can fit over there.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like it goes into a digital world now. I think YouTube is a great way to get your music out there. I think that's probably my favorite thing is you can watch live shows, full live shows. I mean, Ben will do that for a long time, but you can watch full live shows of bands you really love at festivals. You could find all their material that way. So.
Exactly. It's all on there. I love that platform. I love it very much. So excellent. So, you got any dates coming up? You anything coming up for Valentiger?
Yeah, I'm trying to think, is it the third, I believe, of June? We're playing over at Tip Top.
Tip Top.
We're bringing over a friend of ours, Mitch Mead from Chicago. He's going to play before us, and then Dinah Flo is on that. Can't think of the headlining band. That's the worst.
Good, Scott.
I owe beers. I owe so many beers to so many people. Yeah, we got a Frederick Meyer Garden show that we're going to have in July. I don't know if that's announced yet, but that'll be happening. And then August will be over at Puck Cider. If you're Grand Rapids wise,
right? If you're West Michigan area,
yeah, we got Milwaukee. We got a couple shows this year. Chicago as well. We'll be on the east side of the state a little bit too. So
great.
Yeah, we're still out there doing 20, 30 shows a year. We're like I said, we're staying mainly regionally in the regional area of West Michigan. We do pop out to the Nashville area once in a while, but just things have changed. With the pandemic, it's just things all stopped and getting the wheels rolling again.
Restarting it.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of time. I know some bands that were very successful kind of hit that wall. They didn't make it. Like they're not doing it anymore, and they were way successful.
A lot of people got crushed.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's very real. Hit people hard, and that's why I feel like I had to come back out because the music needs to get out there. Yeah, and especially the local and national music that kind of gets overstepped sometimes. Yeah, because I tell the people out there, your next door neighbor pretty much is probably in a band or playing his music. Right, there's a band in every block. Right. So check it out because you'll be surprised at the local music scene or the national music scene. It's great music. Yeah. I'd say Grand Rapids right now, I'll go out on a limb and say I think Grand Rapids right now has some really good musicians. I think there's some great venues. I think we're in a spot where things have kind of trended where people are kind of more digitally based and they're kind of, I don't say they forgot, but the local scene as a whole, if you're doing basement shows and stuff, you can still find some really cool networks of people, but there is something that's been missing here for a little while, and I hope it comes back because I know it's there. It's just connecting all the people again. But you start watching waves of musicians kind of grow up, and not even just in age, just sometimes it's just in their abilities, and then they start doing other things. They travel more, or they're more selective on how many shows they're playing, and it's like you start missing them in your scene. Yeah. So then there's got to be a new crop. You could be old people coming in and starting a band. It doesn't matter. But a new band, quote unquote, starting up, and then what can they do and how can they get momentum? So, some of it's out there right now. I think, there have been some really good, standbys in Grand Rapids with, YCE. Some of the venues, even like Pyramid Scheme has done an awesome job over the years, but there's been turnover on a lot of spots. And you gotta have somebody has to step up and take the next, it to the next level. So I kind of feel in West Michigan, 20 years ago, there was more venues for the original artists, and those venues seemed to cater to, they had their own crowd per se. And now I kind of see, we have a few spots that cater to the original music scene. but it seems the bands seem to bring more people.
Yeah.
So things have kind of tilted a little bit.
People, people get their media in different ways now. So it's not so dependent of just, I need to go out and see a show. It's like you could probably watch that show maybe in a week on YouTube, like we mentioned, or, something like that. You can get their records or you can get their music. So it's like, you feel like you are supporting them, but you feel like you're kind of connected, even though it's not like the physical connection.
You're not there.
When you make those sort of connections, it's just different. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just things change. Just stuff changes. You got to kind of roll with it. And then you just got to see where it's going to take. Because I just think that right now everything's really muddy and we just don't quite know where it's all going to. I don't know where it's all going to go yet. I think it's pretty easy to understand it like in the, before my time. It's like there's a bar, there's a band, and that's what's going on Friday night. And you go there and you watch the band. So now it's like, well, there's so many other options out there. You can do so many different things.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. At the same time,
that's great. So I want to thank Scott Ryder from Valentiger coming into the table after 20 years, brother.
Yeah,
20 years.
Let's do it like in a year now.
That's what I want. I want to get back with the artists that have been on the show, and I'm trying to get a hold of you guys that have been on the TV shows. Yeah. It's great to see you after all these years and stuff, and how you're progressing.
I like that after 20 years, though. Now we're going to like more of a podcast, so nobody has to see me.
Right. I don't want to be on TV no more.
I really appreciate it.
I don't want to buff out the bald spot.
I gotta give you at least one good old man joke there.
Well, this is your show, Valentiger Show. We're going to wrap this up. I want you to check out No Cover TV's podcast. Get a hold of me, bands, artists. It's about you and your music. National, local, your artist out there. We want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. The people want to know. Everybody is listening around the globe. And that's what's great about the podcast. I love it. And Scott, this is on you now. You get to say the last word. You're taking us out. What do you want to say to the people? This is your show, brother.
Oh, man. Well, first of all, when we do have a next record, done, I do want to come back and we'll bring Brent or Bill or both, and we can do a whole conversation on that. We can actually talk about the music. But I want to thank you for having me on today. It's it's cool to keep those connections over time. As far as like people out there listening, valentigermusic.com, we'll be around traveling. Hit us up on social media. We're pretty, like you said, try to be pretty approachable.
That's right. Valentiger.com, right?
Valentigermusic.com.
Music.com. All right, throw that music.
It's about impossible to not find us if you can Google, right? Yeah,
right. Good deal. So check out Valentiger. Check out all your local artists and national artists out there, and get off your butt. Go to a show. Pay the cover charge. Buy some swag, a CD, or the vinyl, because vinyl is getting popular. I got my record player back there. I love it. And check your artists out. Get some digital downloads if you do it that way, too. But check them out. If you don't listen to the local or national scene, you're missing out on some great, great music from artists you probably will never hear.
Definitely.
Yeah, some great music out there from all genres out there. So again, people, I want to thank you for joining us this 47-8 minutes with Scott Ryder from Valentiger, the man of the hour. We got some great shows coming up. Actually, we got a show coming up. I got a 17-year-old out from Austin, Texas, coming on the show Saturday.
Sweet.
Jessica.
That's awesome.
That's going to be special.
Cool.
That's going to be very special. So it's about the young people nowadays, helping promote them, because you were that person back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
for sure.
Just get your music out there, people. A lot of platforms. Take advantage of it, because a lot of it's free nowadays. Yeah, we love it. So anyway, Scott, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
It was great to see you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to see you this summer. All right.
Yeah.
So we're out of here, everybody. Check out No Cover D's podcast and the up and coming. And please check out the past shows, because a lot of great artists were on the show. And check out the recaps where I play the music of these bands. Yeah. All right. So we're out of here, everybody. Say out of here, Scott. Woo!
Yeah.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.